Hey there. I know I've been reading, well, I've been watching a few videos about different things. I tend to watch a lot of videos that have to do with dating, things of that nature, that type of sector. And, what I'm talking about here is kind of like my biggest insecurity, honestly. Um, it's my biggest insecurity that I generally love so dearly about myself. I mean, I wouldn't ask for it to be any other way, even though it does get on my nerves sometimes. But I don't know. It's just like people always talk about trying to be with feminine energy with men, and one thing I hate about being with men is being with men even for an hour fucking sometimes takes a toll on my own masculinity, basically. And I mean, honestly, when I'm sexually active, I kind of obviously put that side of me on the back burner, basically. But even with attraction and everything, it is hard, kind of. And I always notice for me, I do not I don't think I go after men that are masculine, honestly. So many of the time, people talk about women being attracted to masculine men. I am not attracted to masculinity of any sort. I don't care who it's coming out of. A woman, a man, transsexual, intersexual, doesn't. I do not find men generally appealing in that regard. I don't really care about it. I mean, honestly, it goes back to my own energy, I think. And that's why I think feminine energy is an important topic for me. Because it's like, for me, I do not have a feminine energy. I've known this since I was a little girl. Even to the point where, like, you know how you play bride and groom? And, you play bride and groom, someone's supposed to be the bride and someone's supposed to be the groom. I always knew, for me, it would make more sense to be the groom. That's just how I've always been. Like, it's always been kind of like, when it comes to yin and yang, I'm always more yang. And I've explained this in earlier videos. You can check out that one as well. Um, but, I mean, I have a bit of a yang soul, basically. I have a yang personality, yang energy, masculine energy, I'm trying to say. And generally, like, I've always noticed when it comes to dating in person, the people that I've interacted with that I fancied in a dating kind of way, but not a sexual way. Just like we would get along if this were like some kind of date and we weren't just sitting on the couch talking, but we were just actually dating. Well, that would be nice. Only problem is, the person I was talking to didn't have what I wanted at all, physically speaking. Um, they're female-minded, female person, but I wasn't really attracted to them that way. And I mean, I've had that happen a few other times where it would be like that, but they weren't male energy individuals. They weren't male types of people. Like they might have been male physically, but they're mentally just like they didn't have really they didn't have a male energy. And I've noticed when I was young, I always knew I preferred feminine men. generally. I was like really young. I mean, like I was like 13. I was originally just attracted to guys who were like twinks, basically. I was really into like really feminine guys. Like really feminine. Like yes, there's many times other things, but I mean like really feminine, like almost like gender non-conforming guys. Very feminine guys. And it has nothing to do with their sexuality. Um, because I mean like sexuality and gender don't have to do with anything. I know some people think that I'm saying gay men. I'm not saying that specifically. I mean, there are attractive gay men, but that wasn't what I'm specifically talking about here. But, like, I just always noticed that when I was a kid, you know, I always preferred feminine men. And masculinity was always ugly to me. It was unattractive. It's always been, like, off putting. Anytime a man acts more masculine is off putting for me. I don't like very masculine behavior, honestly. And, you know, I've noticed guys that I have entertained or had any idea or interest in being with in any sense were always the more feminine types. You know, for one example, there's this one guy that I was like interested in, but things kind of fell through, and we were dating, but you know, it wasn't really anything. Nothing really came of it or anything on my end, at least. And he was. I found out later on, just like a few weeks ago, that he's like one of those who was like, I guess, non-conforming or something of that nature, gender non-conforming or gender queer or something. And I mean, like, that happens to me often, where it's like always like the guy isn't very masculine, you know. He's, I guess, more on the feminine side. I never really pay attention or notice it, really. But it always seems like that's what I prefer. So I'm just like, at this point, am I attracted to feminine energy or neutral energy or something? Because always talking about like how yin and yang attract each other. I'm like, well, if I have more of a masculine energy and I'm not attracted to masculine energy often, does that mean I'm attracted to feminine energy? Which I never really thought of that. I really don't pay attention to people's energy. Unless we're talking sexual energy. Like, sexual energy on a man, yes, I am. If I like a man and I'm into him like that, and some men are attractive, but I'm just not like into them like that. I'm not into their sexual energy, their sexual, just the sexual tension of it all, you know. Um, but when I am, I mean, I'm into that. But that's like the sexual side of it, the physical side of it. I'm talking about the emotional side of it, you know. And I don't know. It's just like I was just thinking, like, am I really actually more attracted to feminine energy? Is that what it is? I don't know. Or just gender neutral? I don't know. Or is neutral really more feminine anyway? I don't know, but just generally for me, I've always noticed like different things people say attracts women and like masculine things that attract women don't really attract me. In fact, sometimes they say so much stuff and it's like, oh god, that just really turns me off. It's just like, what? But like personally, I found like some people talk about like with the dating world of how some women find it's easier to be in their feminine energy to attract a, I guess, masculine man or something of that nature, or kind of man they want, or whatever. Which honestly, I feel like the whole thing is like not something I'm really into, but I'm just pointing this out. And like, honestly, for me, with hookups and short term dating, it's always been a problem for me because I don't have a feminine energy. I'm not very soft with men, ever. Like, even if I do want to sleep with them or whatever, I don't get soft. At most, I get, like, I'm not quick to be combative. Like, some men, I'm quick to be combative. Many men, I'm actually quick to be combative. I'm like, let's get to it. I mean, like, in some regards, I don't want you treating me like I'm some, like, person you could take advantage of or see me in a certain way that's like, yeah, I like men to treat me with some kind of respect, honestly. If you don't, then I'm gonna probably cause some trouble. Anyhow, with men that I'm actually attracted to, I don't do that generally. I'm more softer in that regard, where I'm like kind of like I'll be neutral unless you give me a reason to not be neutral, and that could go either way. But yeah, I just like people always talk about feminine energy, and it's just like I don't really understand, I guess, how to be in feminine energy because for me it's like I can get out of my masculine energy to some extent. You know, I could try and be neutral, but like being soft, I don't like to be soft, honestly. That weirds me out. I feel grossed out, honestly. Because it means you're basically saying I'm weak. And I never will be weak. Like, I don't know. That's just uncomfortable thinking of myself as weak. And then other things about, like, some people talk about, like, how they expect men to, like, protect them or men giving more of a protective image of themselves. That insults me to some extent. You know, I don't know. It's just like, I think again, yeah, it kind of like goes against my own nature, I guess, in general. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just goes back down to how I align myself. Oh, somebody is saying something. Sorry. Yeah. Oh no, I just didn't fix my StreamYard. I see that. Sorry. Anyhow, I also find it weird because I think for me, this is a big reason why I get so weird, it seems like, with men, honestly, because of my energy. Like, I always feel like man's gonna feel my own energy. And I always feel like my energy is not feminine, so it's just gonna scare him away. And then that's not what I want. I mean, when I want the guy. And that's where I think for me I get so like, because I've always been bold, like I said, and wild, but at the same time I've always been a little bit more um, hidden in a sense. And the reason why is because, like I said, if you're too bold and stuff, it kind of like rubs off my whole energy. And then I don't really like that part being exposed, basically. Because, I mean, like, it's not an energy, I guess, that I would think would be appealing for a man because, opposites attract. But I think, honestly, I feel like when you're raised by, like, a single mother, and all you know is basically having a single mother, and your mother's, like, my mother is more masculine energy, I guess you could say. And that's all you were taught. And, being more masculine is just my nature, honestly. Oh, shoot. Okay. Like 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, but, yeah, for me, I don't know. It's just like kind of like how I was kind of taught to be, really. So I don't know. It's like a lot of people talk about like feminine energy and things of that nature being the key to like relationships and things of that nature. But I always feel like, well, what about people who don't really have that energy? And I hate it because it's like always an assumption just because you're female that you have feminine energy. But I mean, like, the only prerequisite to being a female sex is just being biologically female. So I don't really get why people always talk about a feminine energy. Like, to me, it's like some people have got it, some people don't. It shouldn't be that shocking that some people don't have it. I mean, people have people have all sorts of different personalities and energies and vibes. You can't really just say one type of woman is a certain way, you know. But I don't know. I just that was just basically my opinion on feminine energy. Also, I feel like it does, I think, in a sense. Since, like I said, for me personally, I think for my sexuality, I do not really think I am really drawn into masculine people generally. Like, I'm not really attracted to masculinity, honestly. But I'm also not attracted to feminine bodies. Like, I'm not attracted to females, but I am attracted to more feminine energy than masculine energy. Feel like a heart but going back to my first, some people, let's say, like with feminine energy and it being like my biggest insecurity, I've always found like many different women. It always seemed like would be very like they would go into more of a feminine energy, and I'd always be like, you know, like I would feel kind of like didn't really matter what I said or how I was really because it was just like kind of like that energy part was something that I felt like was kind of like unattainable. So sometimes I actually felt like, well, what's the point of even really trying? Because I felt like kind of like well my like energy wasn't even really feminine, so to speak. I don't know. But yeah, it's affected me in some sense, kind of. At the same time, I mean, like, I wouldn't want to have a feminine energy, even if I did have one. Like, I don't know. I think it would go too much against my own nature, really, honestly. Which goes right back to the point of why I probably don't find masculinity attractive. So, yeah, I have to go soon. Just found out the ride's here, so thanks for listening. I'll probably do a video later on today or at midnight. I gotta check something anyway at midnight, so stay tuned. Have a great day. Bye. Here's me.